practice my reading, woman. I'm gonna come down from the mountain, gonna get me a library card. 'Cause I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows that I am. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows I am. Gonna come down from the mountain, gonna beat you at Scrabble, woman. Gonna come down from the mountain, gonna read the dictionary. Cause I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows that I am. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain, I'm a man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows I am.
All right, guys, welcome to the Northern Footy Show. Thanks for joining us at the new time slot of 6 p.m. We're giving a different slot. We've got three guest Bonners. Bonners, welcome tonight. What a huge weekend of footy it's been, as usual.
Amazing weekend of football. I'm starting to feel like we couldn't pick a winner in a two-horse race if we even knew one was lame. So it's extremely hard to pick a winner each week. And it started for us Friday night with the Creekers and the Demons as well. So what a weekend of footy we've had. So, some interesting results, but definitely makes for a magnificent second half of the year.
I spoke to Bronwyn earlier today on text, Matty. They are currently sitting at $18,000. And there's still some more donations to talk about. 18 grand raised at local football. They've estimated over 1,300 people were there on the night, 1,200 to watch me, 100 to watch you, Bonners. But overall, it was we did commentary in the freezing cold. We were wet by splashing kids earlier before the night even started. But, gee, my hat's off to Diamond Creek. They put on an absolute amazing show, didn't they?
They did an amazing job, and like as I said, I think the winner was Nurofen after the game. They started to turn into a Cliffy Young shuffle by the last quarter, but what these guys did and what they put themselves through, I thought was amazing. Bronwyn and the girls, Rach and all that, did a fantastic job. Mark Shields got out there and played a game of footy as well, so I think these guys should be commended for what they've done, and it was a great fun night. Like, we just had a ball commentating the game, and I would do it every day of the week.
Look, it was great fun, but more importantly right now, we've got three special guests with us today. We've got Northcote Park winning skipper. He will not get sick of hearing that. Matt Perry joining us, Eltham captain Darcy Valance, and Greensboro captain Jack Johnson. Now, we've got all the winners on this week, and we're having a little bit of a chat before we went to air. We'll get to all of you and involve you all, but I'm going to start with you, Matt, because a win was well overdue. You've become the fourth quarter specialist. No one can beat you in the fourth quarter, but you've put four quarters together on the weekend, and you've had an outstanding win, and not just you've won by a truck.
Yeah, mate, it was it was really good just for the whole footy club, I think, just to finally get that first one. Sort of a lot of hard work's gone into it. No, can't really question anyone the effort that's been put in. 0-9 looks pretty grim on paper, but the feeling around the footy club has been awesome still. So just to get that win, it makes a big difference. And we sort of knew that we were tracking in the right direction. We're pretty confident in the footy we were playing, that we're certainly progressing in the right direction. But to put it all together, obviously, a new coach coming in, new game plan, a few new players, it was always going to take a little bit of time, but probably a little bit longer than we would have liked. But we can really see, the hard work starting to pay off, and to put it all together and get a big win like that gives us a lot of confidence, sort of moving to the back end of the year. And like I said, the confidence to now just be able to take on any team and know that we're our good footy's good enough to take it up to them. So I'll do a lot for us. A big win like that, not just the playing group, but the club. A lot of people put a lot of time into footy clubs, and it can get pretty hard when you're not having as much success as you would like. So, it was a great day.
What about, just take it through the win as well? As much as it's good fun to win, you sometimes get that. I think I've always said that getting that first win is just to get you started, get some monkey off the back. It gives you a little bit of confidence, but part of it's also relief. So it must be a good feeling. And going through, as you said, everyone's always up and about at a club, but just to get that win across the line, I reckon it just boosts you that extra 50, 60% for the following week.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Like I said, the feeling around the club has been really good. The training standards and the commitment from the boys hasn't wavered at all. But I think just that win really helps us go to that next level. I think it's a bit of a cliche, but sometimes you sort of forget how to win sometimes, and to be able to do it, to be able to put it all together, and have that feeling back of singing the song after the game, and the beer after the game certainly tastes pretty sweet once you had a win. So just getting back to chasing that feeling again and getting back onto the track and working hard, and it'll do a lot for us, I think.
The truth is, you have been close so many times. You have been in winning positions 3 or 4 times, Matt. And, the Lorimer game, you'd argue you could have won. There's a couple of other games. But then you go and knock off Thomastown that are sitting fourth by, what was the end margin? Was it about 67 points or something? I mean, you can't take that lighthearted. So whoever takes you on next week, seriously, I promise you, they're thinking totally different to they were than when they're going into this week. What's it done for the team after the game? The camaraderie, it just lifts, doesn't it, like instantly?
Yeah, mate, you sort of can't compare the two feelings. If the first 9 rounds and the feeling after the game on Saturday, they're absolutely chalk and cheese. Like you said, we've been in positions to win games and haven't been able to get over the line, which it was really disappointing. But I think we always took out of those games that there was a lot of positive stuff. It was never that we didn't say that our good footy wasn't good enough. It was. We just weren't putting it together for long enough. So we did take confidence and things out of every game, but to be able to put it all together and really showcase and just prove to ourselves that what we're capable of. It'll be a big driving force for us in this back end of the year to continue and just chase that feeling and win games of footy.
And some of the blokes, you always turn over your list at the end of the year. You've got new blokes to play with as well. So a few blokes that have popped up and started to really push their case to be, considered every week. Ones that might have been on the outer for a bit have really put themselves forward this year.
Mate, we've been lucky enough to have a couple of sort of recruits that came in a little bit later, even like as the season started, that have been big contributors, which is probably what's pushed us to probably if you split that first 9 rounds, that last 4 or 5 games before the bye, having those couple of new recruits that sort of gave us a bit more of that top end talent that really helped across a couple of different lines. And then the biggest thing for us, mate, has just been the consistency of the players that have been playing every week. We just haven't had the amount of injuries that we had in the first part of the year. Last week we had 4 changes that none of them were injuries, sort of four people in and out. We'll hopefully have another 3. We don't know, no injuries on the weekend, which is almost as big a win as the win itself. And then, hopefully have another couple of changes next week with no injuries this week. So it's certainly heading in the right direction for us, which is really positive.
Well, we're going to park you there for 5 minutes, Matt, and we're going to move on to the next winner. Now, I don't know what's going on here. I reckon these are all a bit mama's boys. These are all good-looking young men here. The girls must be queuing in like no tomorrow. If you've got any question for the boys, make sure you ask. Don't need to blush there, Jack. It's okay, mate. We've got and so, Darcy, we'll quickly come over to you here, mate. That was a huge win. You played mine and Maddie's Bulls, and I must admit, going into the game, I'll be totally honest, I thought the Bulls would probably be too good for you. But again, you guys have been challenging people consistently. We had Bongo on earlier in the year, and there's always been this second half of the season that, he believes it takes a while to settle into Division 1, get used to the speed and the difference and everything as well. But you have come out, and I have not picked the winner this year, I reckon. I am absolutely the worst tipster going around, but congratulations on your win. It's an important win because you want to stay in the top flight. Well done. What was the feeling like after the game for you guys?
Yeah, thanks for that, Daz. Look, there was a lot on the line yesterday, I think, for both clubs. Obviously, only having the one win each. We knew Bundoora were just going to throw everything at us, and we really felt that throughout the game. I thought it was a really physical game. But it made it even sweeter after getting the 4 points yesterday. It wasn't just about going into the change rooms. It was about going into the club rooms as well and celebrating with our sponsors, supporters, the volunteers, the coaches, of course, as well. As Matt just said as well, there's so much more that goes into a club than the 22 that play on the day. So to give something back to them was probably the most pleasing thing, considering, it was our second win for the year. But obviously a win at home as well. It was just massive for the club. But we know what's coming up for us as well is even bigger than just what happened on Saturday. So as you said, mate, every week is a big challenge.
Yeah. And going into it, like we talk about the top end, and Matty will be in this as well, that it's just as important to stay in a division for a bit of time to actually grow the club, to get players down. So, wins like this against teams that are kind of, let's be honest, are vying in the same area to try and stay up is, I think, probably one of the most important wins of the year. So I think taking that into the second half, I mean, that must be a goal to make sure that you stay in the division, make sure you continue to grow, and then start to, recruit and to push yourself back up the ladder.
Yeah, definitely. And we understand Bundoora have only won one game this year, but we also understand that they made the grand final last year as well. So, I think any week is just going to be as big as the next. That these wins are when, you instill more belief into a young side. Daz said before about how we've been trying to be real competitive, and I think that was our mindset, at the beginning of the year, to try to be competitive and maybe snag one here or there. But now we're changing that mindset to be more challenging, and I think we've proven that against, that some of the top sides, being in some winning positions as well against some of them, and it's going to hold us in good stead into the second half of the year for sure.
Yeah. From my perspective, I think the bottom, and the three of us just spoke about this, or the five of us just spoke about this before we went live, is the bottom end is nearly as important as the top end, because the top end's going to play finals, for the ultimate prize. But at the bottom end here, it's so competitive because you want to stay up. You've done all this hard work. You guys have stuck by a lot of your kids as well, haven't you, Das? And really invested and Bongo's taken that punt to make sure that you guys stay up and get some Division 1 time into you guys. And I love that. You've got to honestly be feeling now after that win, we can hang on, we can shock a couple of other people, because I have a look at the Bundoora side on the weekend, and I know they're a lesser side this year because they've lost a lot of players, but you've still got guys like Luke Collins, Jesse King, Peter McAvoy, Sam Green, Lockie East, Harry Butterworth, Liam Marley. You've still got 7 amazing players just there alone, and that's without me going through everyone. So you haven't beaten no one. You've beaten a side that lost to Banyule by a couple of points, Montmorency by a couple of points. It's a big win. You must believe you can go and get a couple more wins now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like Bundoora, like us, I think it was the 7 of the 22 on the Div 2 Premiership side from last year are no longer with us for various reasons. So, that creates opportunities for, blokes who are playing in the development or younger blokes. Against Heidelberg in our previous week, we actually had, I think it was 5 under-19s blokes running around. Obviously, things didn't go our way that day. They're a bit of a class above. But look, in terms of getting that win yesterday and instilling that belief and building that depth, you need more than just the 22 to be able to, make your way up the ladder throughout the year. And it's just been, I've been at the club since I was 8 years old. So to be able to be a part of that grassroots and that transition into the senior club, and now be able to give back to the juniors. The last couple of weeks, we've even, our senior players have made sure that we go down to the 17s, the 16s, and all the junior trainings to make sure we keep that relationship up, because it's very important when they do transition to the senior club that we retain these players. And you look at our points that now in terms of our senior team, and we've hardly got blokes over 1 point. We've been building a really good culture and being able to retain our players. So yeah, long way to go, but it's been a really, really big step up, and hopefully can continue stepping up and progressing like we have been.
Just take us into the rooms. We talk about the rooms after the game, but as you said, once you get into the social club area, the place just seems to find a new lease of life after a win, and it must have been amazing in there. As I said, we've played football for many years, and we love the feeling going into the social rooms after you've had a big win. So that must have been just as exciting as winning the game itself.
Oh, definitely, Matt. It definitely was. Yeah, as I was mentioning before, it's about giving back to the people who invest so much, and to see a smile on their face makes our 2 hours of work on a Saturday make it so worthwhile. The people invest a lot of time, care, and money into our club, and to see them a little bit, I guess a little bit disappointed with only winning 2 games this year. It obviously hurts. We want to make sure that we can give back to those who invest so much. So in the rooms after the game yesterday was awesome, but also it was awesome to see Bandura. A lot of the players, a lot of their supporter base as well came into the rooms, and we've been on the other side of it as well throughout the year as well. So it was awesome to see them catch up with some past players who have played at Eltham as well. So yeah, we really respected that as well.
No, great work. I'm glad to hear that, because Matt and I, one of the things we miss most about footy is in the rooms and after the game, because that's where some good friendships, you guys obviously all know each other the way he's knocked around before the show, which is great. Now, Jack, we'll come over to you. Now, Jack, you're the guy that's going to most probably play finals, because you're only 4 points off second of the ladder. If I'd have told you last week, you could, at the start of the season, you'll drop 4 games and you'll be 4 points off the ladder at halfway through the season, you would have told me I was a crackhead. But, mate, great win for you guys on the weekend. And again, you've come back. He's laughing, thinking, I think you are a crackhead, Daz. But you've come back and you've had a great win, 22-18, 150, and you beat McLeod 10-9, 69. That's a massive win. And McLeod just knocked off Bandura as well. So, you had to make a statement, to be honest, if you were going to be taken serious in finals. You have had a few injuries, as you said. You have calmed down. You have come back. That's as good a win as you're going to see coming up, and you're 4 points off second position. What'd you take out of the game, Jack?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Obviously, yeah, you're right. We sort of addressed, I suppose, coming into the bye, that we're sort of coming into that real grind of the year. We've had a bit of a disappointing month. We obviously won the first 4, lost the next 4, but we had a few injuries which really hurt our balance. Senior guys through the midfield, and we sort of couldn't really get a game where we sort of had a few senior heads coming back in, which hurt us on game day. But we feel like we've been in nearly every game so far this year. Mainly, I suppose, maybe except for the Hurstbridge game, they jumped us from the start. But apart from that, we feel like we've been involved. With a chance to win, we sort of just had lapses and couldn't really string 4 quarters together in that month where we did lose. But start of the week, we had a really good chat where we sort of just spoke about what we did well at the start of the year, and what we've sort of gone away from and what we can do to get back to where we were. But I think the week off definitely helped us. We had 3 guys come back in Jacko Hassler, Deacon Lawler, and I can't remember who the other one was. Jacko Hassler, Deacon Lawler. And someone else, I can't think of this. But it was just a really good game. We really focused on going quarter by quarter, sort of contest by contest kind of stuff. And whilst we're young, we still had a lot of belief that we could come out into this back half of the year. We feel like we've got a bit of an idea of where we sit at the moment within the standings. But like you said, it's so close this year. Like anyone could beat anyone. If you're 5% off, then it doesn't matter who you're playing, you can get done. So, we're really happy with the result yesterday. It was a good 4-quarter effort, we thought, but still plenty of work to do. So we enjoy the win, but we look forward to West this week. So it was a good day in the end.
We've got the opportunity to actually come down and see you play against Banyule, and I actually rate Banyule. I think Daz has known I've seen Banyule play a few games, and the way you guys took it up to him, you were every bit, a premiership contender. The way you guys get the ball out, move it forward, got some big boys up forward that doesn't hurt to kick a footy down to. I think sometimes when you play a few of the top teams, you get a little bit of an audit of where you're at. So with the injuries going into the second half, you still must have a hell of a lot of confidence in the team once you get everyone back. From what I've seen, I don't see any other reason that to be pushing high in finals.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the aim. Heidi's been really good at pushing the positivity and sort of not letting those games that we sort of did, let slip get to us. He's an ultra positive person, and he's been really good in driving the faith and the belief that we can actually potentially do something special this year. And whilst we lost that 4 in a row, like I said before, we still definitely had the belief that we could take it up to any side. And I think after the weekend, like I said, we had a really good chat and a really good couple of weeks. The bye came at a good time for us. So, but yeah, we definitely feel like we can sort of mix it with the best. It's just a matter of if we can bring that 4-quarter effort or not. Then if we do that, we think we're definitely within a chance. So it's exciting. It's exciting. We're very young, but we're still our young talent's really good talent. So we're looking forward to seeing what the back half of the year brings.
Jack, having a look at your one thing Bonners is huge on is your ability to get the ball in the forward 50 and have shots at goal. You had 40 scoring shots yesterday. You can't get 40 scoring shots against anybody unless you've got a good, back line, midfield, and forward line. And you converted 22-18, 150. So you've won by 81 points. Ben Fisher, he didn't play again. How long's Ben out for?
No, Benny did play. He was the other one. He was the other one that came back in. Yeah, he did play. So
this. Go! I stuff something up every week. I've got a designated button for my friggin' mistakes. Yeah. But anyway, I couldn't see his name on the list. Just say it. Mm-hmm.
We did, yeah. We spoke about that as well. Like we feel like we've definitely generated opportunity. We just sort of probably lacked, finishing off. I think we've averaged something like 16 behinds a game. So we're definitely not lacking the opportunity and getting into our forward 50. It's probably just the way that we're getting it in there. It's probably sort of been a bit of a bomb and hope. Like you said, we've got the big guys up forward, so we sort of try and back them in to win it in the air. But this week we really focused on how we deliver it inside our 50 and sort of kicking it to the advantage, or honouring the short lead and just helping each other and playing that selfless brand that we sort of started off the year with, but we sort of went away from. And that was really the main message from Heidi this week, was to be really selfless and to be excited for someone else's success. So we definitely feel like we've had the chances. We just sort of, our inaccuracy in front of goal has hurt us in the past, but it was good to be on the positive side of the scoring shots this weekend. So it obviously helped in the win, which was good.
Give us a bit of a background from your coach. I've actually I've known the boy since he was 5-6 years old. Heidi, got an opportunity to play footy with him as well. I've known his old man as a coach and everything like that. A fantastic human being in itself. But you say he's an ultra positive person as a coach. But what other things has he brought to the club?
I think he's sort of, unless you sort of know him, he's got like this aura when he walks into a room. People just listen to him. He speaks so well, and he's a bit of a larrikin outside of footy as well. Like he's not too serious in life, and that's how he coaches too, which is really good. With our list being so young, his positive energy is just so, everyone just bounces off it, and it makes people walk taller, to be honest. He's, like I said, he speaks really well. He's always ringing blokes just to touch base outside of footy, see how they're going. Not just in footy life, but in personal life as well. And he's, like you said, his old man's a club legend. He's a club legend, and to have the opportunity to get him back into the club, not just him, but his whole family, and Rob and Pam and Brian and all those guys. And then obviously Hoops as well has come across from Meltham. So to get those guys back into the club has been really good. Not like, just from the start of pre-season, it's just been a really good environment to be a part of, and it's starting to show on game day, which is good. So.
Well, that's excellent. All right, let's talk game results. Matt, I'll get you to come off and you can walk us through Division 3. So Heidelberg West are even despite Fev coming out and kicking 6 snags at 73 years of age. Good on him. He's come out, but they've gone down 11-3-69 to Fitzroy Stars, one of the favourites to win the comp, 17-13, 115. You've come up against both of these sides now, Matt.
Sorry, say that again, mate.
So you've come up. Oh no, you're Division 2. Shit, what am I doing?
No,
Look,
just,
what?
Oh!
Mate,
just keep pressing it.
I wasn't sure whether that was me or you that's made the mistake there.
No, I meant to go to Division 2. We'll finish Division 3 quickly because this is going to be an easy one. Heidelberg West obviously went down to Fitzroy Stars and by a fair bit. And for me, that ends Heidelberg West's finals aspirations. We'll talk about that shortly. King Lake went down as well to Ivanhoe. Finally kicked a big score there, Bonners. 14-12, Ivanhoe. You'd be happy with that? Will you get off Schultz's back now?
No.
No, right. And Old Eltham Collegians, unfortunately, Old Eltham Collegians drop another one. I think that's 3 in a row, and they go down to Kilmore 10-5, 65 to 8-7-55. Mernda, huge
a giant killer, the Kilmore side, aren't they? They've done it to a few teams now.
They're still in finals hope. We'll talk about that in a second. Mernda, took care of Layla very easy. 2014, 134 to 4-2-26. Mernda still got 6 or 7 guys to come back into that side, and we'll talk about that a bit later. And Reservoir 75-47 went down to Old Paradians, who just get better and better and better every week. 21-18, 144. When it comes to Division 3, what I would say is Reza, Laylaw, Heidelberg West, and King Lake, your season's over for finals. I just think there's too much talent above you now. But it's what you can get out of this season and start, really preparing and getting games and strategic plans in there. We'll go very quickly to Division 2. Now, Matt, you can come off. Sorry, mate, I've stuffed that up. They're just go! So South Morang, 15-12, 102, defeated Lower Plenty pretty easily, 11-3, 69. Main point there being 27 scoring shots to 14 Bonners. South Morang keep kicking big scores.
Well, they do. They're an up and down side, aren't they? You can't put your house on them yet, but they're definitely one of the top 3 contenders for the year. A bit more consistency for me would be a lot more calming for their aspirations.
Smack talk and Matty. Have you got them both covered in the next one or what?
Honestly, I reckon South Morang's best footy's probably the one that can challenge the Diamond Creek and the Whittleseys. Like, their best footy's really, really good. The way they play, that once they get the footy out in open space, they're as hard as anyone to stop. So, like as you said, Bonners, they're probably looking for a bit more consistency. The game that we played them, we were sort of up by 6 goals going into halfway through the third quarter, and then it just absolutely turned on the sort of last quarter and a half, and we're pretty much unstoppable and sort of right over the top of us. But I reckon if they sort of find a bit more consistency in the way they play, and they'll certainly be right there at the pointy end. But they've just sort of got to be able to put that together, because their best footy's it's very, very hard to stop. The way that they're open, sort of ball movement style that they play, they've certainly got a lot of talent.
Not overly common in Division 2, boys, but they've still got 2 VFL players who are regularly West at Coburg with Kalpakis and Dintasante to come back into that side at finals. I understand they're now both qualified after the bye, so jeepers, they're quality guys to come in. It's all got to gel, but they're both South Morang boys, so that shouldn't be too hard. Then we'll move over to Panton Hill. 5-10-40 went down to Diamond Creek. 9-9-63. Looks like Panton Hill continue to put up another fight, and they seem to be punching hard regularly. They're just not getting over the line enough. Is that a fair call, Matt?
Yeah, that seems to be the way that they've sort of their year's gone. I think they've got a couple of sculpts. I think they've won 3 or 4. We've got them next week, so looking forward to that challenge. But to take it up to Diamond Creek's a pretty impressive result for them. So I'm sure it'll be a good game between the 2 of us next week.
And we'll finish off with the last two with Lorimer 10-10-70 defeated by Whittlesea. Lorimer's actually done pretty well there. That's an improvement from their first game when they took them on. And but Whittlesea's a powerhouse, 14-14, 98, 28 scoring shots to 20. Not too far off the mark, Lorimer. Thomastown is the upset of the week across all divisions for me. 5-11-41 defeated by Northcote Park. Your boys, Matty, 16-12, 108. And what that does for me, if I'm the coach playing you next week, is that absolutely makes me shit my dacks, because it means you got your straps, and there's nothing worse than a side that is coming from nowhere that has belief, because you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's certainly been the message over the last couple of weeks, is that the fact that we don't have anything to lose, and just playing with a bit more freedom and knowing that our good footy's certainly good enough. So just take a little bit of the pressure off. Obviously, there's stuff that we're certainly still really diligent with, but just playing with a bit more freedom and knowing that we've got the talent out there at the moment with not having the injuries that we've had in the first half of the year. That we're just got to be able to go out there and get the job done, really. And a day like yesterday really instills that belief that we can go out and do it. So we're certainly looking forward to hopefully getting on a bit of a run over the next couple of weeks and really feeding off the momentum that we built from yesterday.
And it also, too, the second half of the year as well, like a lot of teams still have to play you, and some of these teams are going to be sitting there looking at their finals contention, where they're going to finish, and you guys could have every opportunity not only to kind of mess with their finals, but to push yourself up. Once you get onto a run, it's amazing how quickly you can find yourself in the winners list regularly. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Absolutely. There's a lot to look forward to in the back end of the year. The way we're building, as I sort of mentioned before, that with a new coach and a new game style and all that sort of stuff, we weren't delusional of the fact that it was going to click overnight. So it has taken a little bit longer than we probably would have liked, with not as many wins in the win column, but we could certainly feel it, and we probably felt that it was coming together over the last month. It just weren't getting the results. We were playing some good footy, but just weren't able to get over the line. But we're certainly excited to continue on with the way we're playing and attack Pantnell next week, and hopefully make it 2 in a row.
It's everything going full circle, and we'll talk about this in a minute, because I do remember the Cougars being the absolute powerhouse. Actually asked to go up to the VFL at one stage after 5 or 6 grannies. We'll finish off there with St Mary's 5-12-42, which Bonner's got a bit of a connection to there with quite a few mates there. They were defeated by Watsonia 14-4-89. I tip my hat to Watsonia. These guys have not given up, and we've tipped against them more often than not. But St Mary's, that's a little kick in the teeth for them. That's one to come back from. But Bonners, any commentary on that one before we move to Divi 1, as Jack sits pretty in the background going, "I'm playing finals, boys. This is no drama."
Look, I just think it's the same scenario, that I think you could throw a blanket over every team that have a run, and some drop. Most teams, I think every team, bar Heidelberg, which is kind of in different realm in itself, but always seem to have dropped games that they probably should have won. But as I said, I just think it makes for a great competition. There's no easy wins. There's no drop you 5%. So they'll get that. They'll kind of reassess, see where they're at, and push again.
Yeah, well, and just quickly, don't jump through the thing and punch me in the nose here, Matty. But for Division 2, Lorimer and Northcote Park are the only two that can't play finals, in my opinion. But I tell you what, there's a lot to gain for both these sides, because no one wants to go down to Division 3. And I'm not going to say what I said off air before. So we'll go to Divi 1, and so Monty 9-8-62 defeated West Preston 8-9-57. West Preston will be spewing on that, because West Preston's playing some okay footy at the moment, and they had that. They let Monty back in at the last minute, Bonners.
I feel like they're the same type as we were talking about South Morang. It's 1 week you think, they're gone. The next week they come back and they start pushing it to the top teams. It's just with every kind of these lower grade side or the lower form sides, is you got to put consistency together, because they can well and truly push their way into finals, but they've got to be a lot more consistent.
All right, let's talk about Hurstbridge. And Jack, I'll get your opinion here. Hurstbridge 9-10-64, defeated by the AFL side, Heidelberg, 25-14, 164, 100 points and 10 goals kicked there as well. Like Nathan Honey's kicked 10. I think he only had 7 with about 10 minutes left in the game, 2 or 5 minutes left in the game. They're awesome, Jack. You've played against them. It must be a little factory going on there.
I don't know, like everyone sort of looked at that game, obviously 1v2, and we were pretty surprised when we saw the result after the game. Obviously, for Nathan Honey to kick 10 goals is a pretty massive effort, but Hurstbridge are pretty good at their ground. Like they play it really well, and they're in form. They're sitting second on the ladder, obviously. But I think everyone was pretty surprised when they checked the results after the game, and it was obviously a 100-point difference, for sure.
That's a bit crazy. When we go to Eltham, 12-17-89, defeated Bundoora 9-10-64. Maddie and I do not ever talk Bundoora, both sort of having an alliance there, but we are going to have a quick chat about it shortly. We'll come back to that, but that's a great win, Darcy. And I know we've touched on it already, and we'll come back and have a further chat about it. Remember, that's a massive win, Bonners, for Eltham. Like, in all seriousness, like, for me, they are setting themselves to go on with a few more big wins too. I don't think Eltham's the worst side in the comp at all.
Oh, definitely not. And I think you've seen some of the results, and Darcy will say it himself, the young kids sometimes maybe get overrun or get overawed in some of the aspects, but for every part, you can't sit there and go, well, walk into Eltham, we're going to have an easy run here. So they push you every week, and I think they got the just deserves for the effort that they've put in all year.
Talk about comebacks at comebacks. North Heidelberg, 16-14. 110 with 13 seconds left on the clock. Took care of Banyul, 17-7, 109. 30 scoring shots to 24. I mean, it's a close game, but it's one Banyul's going to say we let that slip away.
Yeah, they've had a couple of close ones. I reckon they've probably won a couple they had every right to lose. So, and I know there's a few guys that have gone overseas there as well. We spoke to Harrow a few weeks ago, and it's interesting. I mean, I can't remember back in our time, Daz, someone saying we're going overseas for 3-4 weeks in the middle of a footy season. You'd almost get executed. So it's a new world that we live in. But they've got to, these are games against teams around them that you really either, you're going to find out where you're at. And now they've put themselves into a situation where now they're fourth. They've dropped from second to fourth. Had an opportunity to push themselves up. But to win it, winning at the Kennel, I think we've spoken about that many times, is it's one of the most intimidating places. And back in the days with Northcote Park at Bill Laurie Oval was always a bit of an intimidatory situation to be in. But I still think that Banyul's probably one of the top 2 teams in the comp so far.
Agree. And then obviously Greensy, we discussed earlier with Jack, 22-18, 150, beat McLeod 10-9-69. Now let's talk very quickly about Division 1. Who can't make it? I'm going to bring the ladder up here. So for me, obviously, McLeod, Bundoora and Eltham can't play finals. It's just a little bit too hard. But guys, I've got to tell you, West Preston can't afford to drop one more or they'll be in the same spot. But have a look at the difference here, boys, between number 6 and number 2. You've only got 4 points separating. Your percentages aren't that different. Greensy's actually got a good percentage compared to, say, a Banyul and a North Heidelberg. So, those extra 10 points, Jack, could be all the difference come finals time.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said before, it's very close and anyone could be anyone on any given day. But I think it's a sign of where the league's at, not just in Division 1, but across the whole competition. I think anyone can beat anyone. And West Preston every time we play them, it's a really close game. So they play a really good brand of footy. They like to chip around and hit the short kicks, which we've sort of played really really good games against them. Like I said, and it's been really close. So this week's another big game for us, definitely.
Heidelberg have now won 47 out of their last 48 games. That is insane. I can't think other than Northcote Park who did that in the days. Northcote Park back in the day, they just didn't lose. Whoever told us to get rid of the pokies, Matt, needs to be shot because and the pokies were in there. Money must have been flying through the doors. But, the Cougars, I hate seeing anyone go down. I see, where Reservoir and Layla have had to go from being powerhouse sides, and no one, wants to go down. But, it's a tough competition, and you've got to get your coach right. You've got to get your player selection right. You got to have a bit of luck with injuries. You got to be careful not to have too many VFL players on your list as well, because all of those things hurt you. Matt, in your division, who do you see winning the flag? If you had to pick right now for Division 2, there's the ladder up. Is Whittlesea clear favourite, or are you thinking that, anyone in that top 4 or 5 can do it?
I think it's probably the top 3 it's going to come from. Like I mentioned before, I think South Marine's footy's good enough if they put it all together. Their best footy's up there with those top 2 sides. I think Whittlesea's obviously the most consistent. But Diamond Creek also on their day are more than capable of getting over the line. So I think it'll definitely come between those top 3. But I think Whittlesea is definitely the team to beat.
Yep.
Just a quick one, mate. I had the opportunity to against your boys back in the day when they were good. There was a good old the Ahmad boys, and Brett Jeffrey was running around. Pierre Haddad used to give me a whack across the ears. So there's a lot of history at the club. So to get that club back to where its former glories must be a high priority for you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I've been around the footy club since I was 2 or 3 years old. My old man played in a couple of those flags in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, it's a massive part of, not only just being a part of the footy club, it's been a big part of my life, family involved and, running around. I was cleaning those players you just mentioned. I used to run around and clean their boots after the game when I was 2 or 3 years old. So, it means a lot to get the club back to it. The former glories, as you mentioned, mate. It's certainly what we're working towards. So,
Never snuck in to get the pokies, mate. Never snuck in to get the extra dollars left on the pokies floor.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that or not. So I'll say no. There's certainly a lot of incentive, mate, to get us back to where we were. But we're seeing the right signs at the moment, mate. The commitment from the boys and the way that we're playing footy at the moment, we're pretty confident that we're moving in the right direction. So obviously a few more wins towards the back end of this year would be really nice, and then build, maintain the list and pick up a few more and start building over the next sort of year or two with obviously with the new coach. It was never going to happen overnight. So we're pretty confident that we're moving in the right direction.
You'll be absolutely freaked out to know that my mouth got me in a bit of trouble back in the day with the boys at the Northcote Park and probably a few other teams as well. So we had some good scuffles back in the day, and but it was one of those clubs that I actually loved playing football against because it was always hard, it was tough. But at the end of the day, everyone would be in together having a beer after the game, and to me, that's what local footy is about. So one of the great places I love playing footy, Bill Laurie Oval, was a beautiful place to play football.
Yeah, it is a great ground. My biggest spray ever, Bonners, came from Vinny Hanlon, who absolutely told me he was going to kill me after the game in the rooms for belting someone, and it wasn't even me. So, still tonight. Now, Darcy and Jack, let's have a look at the Division 1 ladder. Now, whilst Heidelberg would be the easy thing, if you had to give me one other side that can knock this off and you can't nominate yourselves, who's the other side that challenges Heidelberg for the flag in this one, Darcy and Jack? You go first, Darcy.
Honestly, between top and sixth position, obviously the obvious answer would be Heidelberg, but it could be anyone's game on their day. When we faced up against North Heidelberg, their first quarter, their midfield dominance, I think it was 9-0 at quarter time. And I know they're getting a few boys back as well. So I reckon if I was to say a little bit of a smoky, I'll say North Heidelberg. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah. Parker will be happy with that. Jack, what do you got?
I think obviously I think Monty are pretty good still. They've had a couple of guys that haven't played for a bit of a period, and I think they're starting to come back now. And the fact that they've sort of, I think, gotten themselves through that period when they didn't have those guys, and to still sit second on the ladder whilst it is still close, I think they're probably right up there as well. But yeah, like you said, Heidelberg a little bit ahead of everyone at the minute. But I think Monty are pretty good as well. So.
Bonners, let me put you on the stop. Who's your outstanding team for Division 1, 2, and 3? Just who's outstanding this year? Division 1, I'm pretty, confident you're going to go with Heidelberg. Is it fair call?
Well, Vinny would kick my ass if I said anything else, wouldn't he?
So there's Division 2. Who's your side you're most excited about to do the damage there?
Look, I think Andrew Tranquilli with his boys at Diamond Creek for me is we've had a bit to do with them with the charity stuff, but we got to see them firsthand. And when those guys get up and going, I honestly think, and I think that a few people have said South Morang, like I think Matt said South Morang, but when I see Diamond Creek up and running, they've got some power forwards that just love to take a big grab. They're a good silky team. They're hard at it. They're good at their the contested work. So I actually think Diamond Creek are the heir apparent.
And let's go Division 3. Who's getting the chocolates if you're going to pick it today? This is Jeepers so tight.
Yeah, and I'll jump on an ex-Northcote Park boy in Jacko. I still think Fitzroy Stars, when they're up and going, they're an amazing side to watch. I watched them against Old Paradians. I know Old Paradians got the chocolates, but they're just an exciting team, and they're hard at it. You got Jai Burns going up forward. You've got Mini Proctor going around. I mean, it's a team of Proctors, and once they get them all on the field, they're pretty. I think they're a pretty intimidating team to come up against. So I know you've got Mernda, but I just, for me, it's still Fitzroy Stars premiership favourites for me.
I've got Mernda only because of the amount of outs they've still got to come back in, but that could all change with injuries and so forth. And I've heard Rob Fletcher fights pretty well, so I'm not going against him, and he probably knows me best, so that's all right. But now let's talk about, and very, very quickly, so if we go to Division 3, who did you think would do better this year in Division 3?
Heidelberg, I reckon Heidelberg West is one of the teams. I mean, we saw them pre-season and they actually look really good. So, and when they've got the expanse of such a big ground, I reckon it's a big home ground advantage. So, if I had to pick a team, and there's a few in there that you could put you could throw a blanket over, but to me, Heidelberg West is a team that probably sticks out.
And Divi 1, there's
pretty obvious for me.
Yeah, I know. And I know we try very hard not to talk about it, but if we go off the amount of emails and inboxes we get about not talking about Bundoora, they've played in the last 2 grand finals. We've got a new coach, obviously, Chopper left, Michael Ryan, and they did lose a lot of players. It's just, it's probably difficult to see them, arguably on the bottom of the ladder. They've lost to the other 2 bottom sides. So, I mean, where to from here? We've seen, sides go down like Laylaw and Reservoir and Northcote Park go down from Divi 1 after many, many years up. It's going to be a tough fight to the end here, Bonners. Yeah,
and look, I've still got a lot of great connections at Bundoora. I speak to King. You see the passion he puts into the club. There's all the old blokes, I got to catch up with a few, Cliffy Penn and Grossi as well. So to see a club that really, as you said, they've played Division 1 grand final last year, to be sitting 1 win on the bottom of the ladder. I mean, it's hard not to say that they're the most disappointing results coming into this round. There's still second half of the year. We're not sure what's going to happen, but it's hard for me to go past that.
I think it's just going to be tough. We've got a big show coming up Wednesday night, Bonners. We won't release our special guest just yet, but we're actually going to rate the sides this week, how they're going as a percentage, because it's we're at the halfway mark of the season. The bye, you boys, Matt, Darcy, Jackie's all mentioned the break before. How important was the break to come when it come for you guys, Jack?
Yeah, like I said before, it was pretty come at the perfect time. We had a few injuries that we were sort of waiting to get back, and they weren't just sort of a 1 to 2 weeker. They were like a 3 or a 4 weeker. And the buy sort of came, to be honest with you, at the perfect time. We had 3 guys come back in this week, and we sort of started to get a few more over the next couple of weeks as well. So hopefully, we can hold on, and everyone can stay fit and out in the park, and we can start to get our I suppose our 22 back, which would be good. So
yeah, Dash, full on time for you.
Yeah, the more recent buy came at a good time for us. yeah, definitely before the first bye that we had, because considering that Greensborough and Eltham play Good Friday, that probably didn't come at a good time considering our four first weeks, and we're building. And then after the bye, we played West Preston, which we thought was more than a gettable game, and we got absolutely pants that day, unfortunately. But yeah, it came at a good time last week, obviously coming off a pretty hefty loss against Heidelberg, and we're able to reset and just kind of look at the positive things that we've been able to build on as well. And yeah, we got a few boys back as well, which really helped yesterday. And yeah, got a win, which was good.
Now, Matt, I've got a task for you. Matt, we're building up to a special segment called Joke Off in a few weeks, where we're getting 6 people in from different clubs. The first prize is a sponsorship package worth $1,500 for the club for next season. I need you to rate my today joke out of 10. Okay, are you ready? They're generally not crash hot. But
Start at a 3 and work your way up, Matty. Trust me.
Yeah.
Have you heard the joke about yoga?
No, I haven't.
Don't worry about it. It's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, don't even rate it. I'm not putting you on the spot, Matty. We'll give it a solid 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether that's much more than a 2. You're right. That's 2.
Telling 4 jokes, Matty. You guys, one of you guys, we need one more contestant to come on. So you guys,
I'll put the word out.
You're in?
No, you'll put the word out.
Put the word out to the boys.
Put your hand
I'll
up.
try and get someone.
Put your hand up.
Well,
Jack,
if you're the competition, mate, I might even stick my hand up.
You're in. We're holding you to this. I'm going to announce it today. Matt's putting his hand in. It is going to be a really good night. We've got some really funny stuff going on. The good news is I'm not the competition. You're competing against other players, and there's a couple of club presidents in there and stuff as well. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I know it's difficult on a Sunday night, and, you know, for all the right reasons, you've had fantastic weeks, and we just love engaging with you guys each week and making sure that you can get on. And you got one comment coming through here from Dave Calloway. Now, what's the go? What's the go here? Are you a bit of or something, Jack? What's going on?
No, he's one of my good mates' uncle. He's trying to be funny.
We didn't do this, Bonners, but before we go, because it's only going to take 30 seconds, a good mate of mine who has been a successful artist, he has written a song deliberately for the Northern Footy Show. So on a more serious note, he's remastering it at the moment. If Jamie's watching the show, he's written a song direct for us. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds of it. Let me know what you think, boys. Bit catchy, bit ockerish, but it's all about the Northern Footy Show.
Have you ever seen a root kick? Have you ever seen an emu run under the bright Aussie skies and said this year we'll be the ones? Oi, oi, oi! What does it mean to be a part of a footy team? It's more than a game. The footy's in our veins. It's time to go. It's the Northern Footy Show. Get out of our way. We wanna see them play.
Pretty happy to have our own song. It's got a bit of a jingle catch to it, Bonners, don't you think, boys? What do you reckon?
It's good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
I reckon there should be a bit of karaoke in that segment as well. Maybe the lyrics up on the screen. Could be. Could Jack could end the show by singing it, I reckon.
I don't know, Darcy, I'm feeling a duet. There's a bit of a duet between you and Matt going on. That could be our end of year show. You're committing to both of you grabbing a microphone for karaoke at the season finale. Jack saying yes. It's opposite day. All right, boys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the show, boys. We're back Wednesday night, Bonners. Until Wednesday night, keep kicking goals, and thanks for coming on, boys. We'll see you all next week.
All right. Thanks, boys.
All right, cheers, Daz. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.